All right, so that's the first really trek that I've gotten to take this thing off-road. I mean, it is the first completely, for sure. First off-road checkout on the Ram Ecodiesel 2021 with the Fox 2.5 coilovers with the external reservoirs, as well as the Carli upper control arms, and on 35's with some 18-inch method wheels. So let's go ahead and see how she feels. We'll be doing basically some casual fire road, some rough rain ruts and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, not jumping it, but enough rough and go that I can kind of compare it to my old F-150 with the Icon Stage 1 setup, and then my old Ram 1500 that had just some Bilsteins and suspension left. So let's check it out. See, we've got quite a few rain ruts and runoffs here, so they're about maybe 4 or 6 inches deep, and as we're going over them, there's also a lot of just kind of braking bumps. Whoa. There you go. I'm going about 20 miles an hour right now. We're up in the Boise foothills, up 8th Street, which is literally just right off downtown. You just drive up the road and pavement ends and you get to go wheeling a little bit. So cruising about 30 miles an hour right now over some sandy washes with some braking bumps, nothing too crazy. So here's some good little bumps. There we go. Man, the truck feels great. It's super planted. Like when I took out my F-150, doing this right here with the Icon Stage 1 kit, I had a 2020 F-150 Lariat long bed on 35's with 18-inch wheels, pretty similar setup. But this, man, these Fox coilovers are supple. Like everything is just like dead pack in a good way. Feels like if you ride dirt bikes, like an A-kit suspension setup where you just kind of go into a bump and instead of getting reverb or rebound and pushing you back up and bouncing all over, it just kind of compresses into it gradually on and really supplely on the washboard stuff, and then on the big bumps it just soaks it up and allows you to just kind of let the truck go where it's supposed to go. And there's a big bump on that one. That was good. And man, it's just planted. Like I feel really comfortable. There's no noises or rattling or any crazy sounds coming from any part of the truck. It's just solid. So this is sick. Pretty cool. We'll do a little bit of driving through here, and you guys can follow along as we cruise through this 8th Street trail on up to the top. I will say the Ecodiesel, the power is different than a gas truck or the EcoBoost. You don't have like that instant torque. You have more of a roll-on. Once the boost kind of catches up with the turbo, then you've got massive torque all at once. So something to keep in mind if you're looking for that real linear power. Obviously going with the gas or V8, a Hemi, or even the EcoBoost is pretty linear with the twin turbos. But the EcoBoost is or the Ecodiesel is gonna be a little bit different roll-on power feel. And if you like that, cool. If not, then maybe a different engine platform in the same chassis would be a good idea. You can see it gets pretty rough here, but eats it up nice and good. Dang, it's awesome. Definitely a huge difference than what it was like on my F-150 with the Icon Stage 1. Obviously it might not be comparable because the Stage 1 kit from Icon is not even remotely the same as the Carli upper control arm with the 2.5-inch external reservoir coilover setup with this setup. So yeah, see, that's a big old ravine there, and it just kind of soaks it up nice and smooth. Pretty cool. A little bit of a wall here. Woo. getting on up to the treetops here soon. It's pretty sick. I'll do a little video of me running through a section maybe while I drive by too, so you guys can see how the suspension is active. All right, we'll do a little just drive by, I guess. See how it looks. Probably won't be that cool. All right, so that's the first really trek that I've gotten to take this thing off-road. I mean, it is the first completely, for sure. And, you know, going through some varied fire road setups with some rain ruts, some washouts, some washboard, stuff like that, sandy silt, some rocks and stuff like that. Feels amazing. Like, I don't know why I would buy a side-by-side when I could just upgrade my truck. Yeah, I know I could probably go a lot faster in a side-by-side, but they're like $30,000. And for what I can do in my truck, I can cruise at, 30 miles an hour down the fire roads. I can get into pretty tight stuff, like not as tight as obviously side-by-side, but I got my moto. I love off-roading on that way more than I do a side-by-side. And this thing is sick. It's performing amazing. I noticed most that the travel is very progressive and smooth. You don't notice any abrupt transitions from pothole to any of the turns or any of the berms, and everything just feels really supple. Going to a bump, there was actually a pretty big washout, and I thought I would be getting that rebound and that kickback, but the thing just handled amazing. Just sucked it up, super smooth, kind of a dead hit into it, and just right through it pretty much. Felt like you just go right through whatever obstacle you have. Now obviously we're not getting into some crazy hairy terrain, but we'll get there. And man, I'm super impressed. I do think that it'd be cool to have a tune on the Ecodiesel, just to have a little bit more torque off the bottom. But other than that, this thing rips. It's so good. And it's so quiet inside the Ram with the suspension, no squeaking. I know the Icon kit I had, I know Icon does great work, but I don't know if it's just my kit, but it was really squeaky and it felt clunky in some areas when we hit some stuff, especially on the washboard stuff. It wasn't supple at all on the top of the beginning of the stroke. So this soaks it up. Feels like it's really progressive, because when I go into something, it's a little chatter, smooths it out, and then when I hit a bigger divot or a bump at speed, it feels like it's gonna bronco you, but it just hits it, absorbs it, and pushes right through it, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, stay tuned while we do some more adventures in this thing, and so far so good. Maybe I'll need a front skid plate, but But other than that, I think we'll be cherry.